So most of the people are the ones that have applied for an adjustment of status. So they're about to get their green card. So they're the legal immigrants. So a lot of noise that I'm hearing just in terms of news reports, it's about illegal immigrants, but it's not. I mean, though most of those are prohibited from seeking federal benefits, some of them may, but this is going to be challenging the legal immigrants who are about to adjust. So it's going to be a judgment that's going to be made by the officer.
Yes, ma'am. And so what would you say the overall goal of this new rule is?
So it is to have people that are coming into the country be self-sufficient. At no point can they fall into the part where they have to seek any governmental assistance. It may be food stamps, Medicaid-related help, housing assistance. So basically, the burden on the immigrants that are in the country to be able to prove that they can sustain themselves completely.
Yes, ma'am. And that leads me to another question. So Ken Cuccinelli spoke that this, like you said, is supporting self-sufficiency. But as one reporter raised the question, at the base of the Statue of Liberty, it says, "Give me your tired and give me your poor." And people are saying that this new rule says that if you don't come here with the means of supporting yourself or a way to be here, then you shouldn't be here. And my question to you following that is, will this punish the poor immigrants just because they're poor? And is this going back on the basis of our promise to help immigrants as they try to become citizens and get on their feet?
Yes, it is. I mean, you're tired, you're hungry, you're poor, wretched masses, all of that, and that seems, it seems sad that we are changing from a country that would accept all kinds of immigrants to a country that is now only going to say that if you are wealthy enough to sustain, I mean, U.S. enjoys a higher standard of living and a higher cost associated with that. So if you're coming from a country where you can't afford to sustain yourself in this country, so basically it's either an employer or a family member that takes charge of you as opposed to the government. From a reasonable standpoint, it does seem to be an okay requirement. However, where it becomes concerning is people don't plan to ask for federal benefits. I mean, sometimes you may lose a job and you end up in a position. It could be any situation that lends to you landing in a position of wanting help. Would this country turn people who have otherwise done everything legally to now say that they're not allowed to do that? It's concerning. And I have one person to talk about, and that's Stephen Miller. And I don't want to go into politics of this, but I think that has been something that was tasked to him, is to reduce legal immigration, and this seems to be a good way to do that.
That kind of rolls right into my next question that I was going to ask you. For a lot of people qualifying for government programs, they are already working in jobs with low-paying wages, and so sometimes they need the assistance not just because they want to be completely dependent on them, but they just need a little help because the wages are so low, and they don't have these high-paying jobs that they can afford to support all of their family on. So I definitely agree with you on that point. And do you think that this is going to punish them in a way, or do you think that there is hope that something can be done about this, or is it, kind of too late?
Yes, I don't know. It's not going to be retroactive, as in it's not going to harm anyone. The rule as it reads right now is not going to harm anyone that has sought those benefits in the past. It is for people that are going forward that they will be. So it's from August 14th and 60 days forward when it would become the rule. And there would be more requirements for people who are adjusting their status or changing their status to be able to certify to the government by filing another form to say that they can sustain themselves so that they're allowed to be here. Now, would this be something that is concerning? Yes, it is. But whether it would have the future impact, I go back to that same thought that I had before, that people are not planning on doing this. If they're not coming to the U.S. because they're getting free benefits. They're coming to the U.S. so that they can live a better life and that they are aiming for a successful life. But that doesn't happen once in a while. You have a sick family member. We've had some people here who have been who are engineers, but they were were born, they had a child who was born with a defect. Now, what do? They had to ask for Medicaid for that child. They had to ask for some benefits. They had to ask for some assistance. Now, for them not to be allowed to become green card holders in the future whenever their date comes current because they had a child who was born, it's kind of, it's sad if that were to happen.
Yes, ma'am. And just wrapping things up, now the administration said that they are just implementing a rule that was in the books for over 100 plus years. But when this was implemented, this was also in the same era as, the Chinese Exclusion Act as well. And now views on immigration have changed drastically from back then. And I want to ask you, how do you think that this rule is going to find its place or fit in with today's society?
So first of all, there are enough organizations that have indicated that they will be filing suits. So there will be a judicial challenge to it. And I think the fair aspects of it, hopefully with, a judicial review, will be allowed to stand, and the parts that don't seem fair at all would be reduced. So this rule was published a little while back, and I'd like to say almost a year back, and it had some 10,000 public comments. So this is seeming to be after the fact of taking care of those 10,000 comments, but I think it's still going to have a pushback. It's going to have challenges that are legal challenges before it really comes into play.
Right, definitely. Well, you know what? I definitely enjoyed speaking with you. Thank you so much, Ms. Pallavi. We appreciate your insight. And of course, if we need anything else or need any more insight, we will definitely not hesitate to reach out.
It was a pleasure speaking to you, Kayla. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so just some more insight for you on that. I know for a lot of people, maybe there was some confusion or maybe, you just needed to clarify some things regarding the public charge immigration rule. There you have it. That's what's going on. If you would like to read up more on this, I would definitely recommend you do so.